home party this is gonna be.
Well, you won't be here for it. You're gonna grab some stuff and throw it in a suitcase and get out of here while you still can. Sandy, this is your only chance, and I'm gonna make sure you take it.
My only chance for what?
Look, what are you leaving behind?
I don't know.
Well, what are you leaving behind? Your flaming romance with Rodney Harrington?
Don't say that.
Well, you better get used to it, because if you stay, that's gonna be your loving husband's favorite topic of conversation.
So?
So when he runs out of words and starts using his fists, Sandy, I can't protect you from him.
I don't expect you to.
No, you expect Rodney to ride up in his car and carry you away from all this, solve all your problems. Well, quit kidding yourself. It's not gonna happen. There are too many other girls just as friendly that are a lot safer to be around.
Shut up.
Go pack.
Well, how far am I gonna get on $4 and some change?
Look, I've got money in there. I'll give you the money.
Well, what about you? You haven't said a word about coming with me.
I'll be along.
When?
As soon as I can.
Chris.
Look, don't worry about that. I'll be there.
I'm not gonna leave you alone with your brother.
Look, Sandy, if I run from Lee, I'll be admitting that I lied on that witness stand.
So you're gonna try and bluff it out?
No, I'm not gonna bluff it out. I'm just not letting him get away with Ann's murder, and that is a fact.
He already has.
No, he hasn't. This was a hearing, Sandy. He can still be rearrested and brought to trial.
So you're gonna stay here and try to bug him into a confession?
Oh, he'll never confess. He has no conscience. That's why I have to stay here, where people can look at me. Where every time somebody helps me across the street or yanks me out of the path of a car, he'll be reminded that this guy was deliberately blinded by his own brother, who's walking the streets free.
Chris, that's ancient history.
If he pushed me off that bluff, he could have pushed Ann off. That's what they'll think, because most of the people in this town know that Lee is guilty, that he just got off on a legal technicality. But people talk a lot and then they forget. That's why I've got to be here, Sandy, because I'm not going to let them forget. I want them howling for his blood.
And then what are you gonna do, organize a lynch mob?
I won't have to do that, because when the howl for justice gets loud enough, they'll listen and they'll do something about Lee.
He'll break your neck.
No, he won't. He knows they'll be watching him. You watch, he'll be real cool, at least for a while. And by that time, it'll be too late. Now, I want you to get out of here. When this thing is over, I'll join you in Boston, and maybe for a change, we can do something with our lives without worrying about him showing up to wreck it. Now go pack.
Promise you'll join me?
Well, speak up, speak up.
Like I always said, little brother, they didn't make the job that could keep me or the jail that could hold me. Or the woman that could walk herself out of my life. Keep me or the jail that could hold me. Or the chick that could walk herself out of my life. Packing, Sandy?
Well,
it's very thoughtful of you, honey. It's very nice, but you see, we're not going to take any trips just now. As a matter of fact, we don't have to go anyplace now. I'm a free man. So we can all stay here together and look the town straight in the eyes, right, Chris?
I'll put these things away.
Sandy, we don't have to go anyplace for a second honeymoon. Well, soldier, we've been through the wars, huh? How about a truce?
Don't try to con me, Lee.
What are you talking about?
You know why Sandy had the suitcase out, and you know how I feel about you being released.
You're right, Chris. I knew what was going on when I walked in the door, but I guess I just didn't want to believe it. A man doesn't like to think that his own family would rather see him strapped in an electric chair than walk in his own front door.
Well, how do you think we should feel?
Well, fresh, clean, brand new, just like me. Sandy? Listen, I want to set the record straight with both of you. Now, sitting in a jail cell, it does a lot for your outlook on life. It's like a whole overhaul from ignition to transmission. Suddenly, you start thinking about the things that really matter to you, the things that really count.
And what really counts to you, Lee, is Sandy and I, right?
That's right, Chris. All that counts.
That groove's a little warm.
What I did to you was 18 years ago, Chris. How long are you going to make me pay for it?
Let's set the account straight, Lee. You haven't begun to pay, not yet.
Huh? Feel these hands, huh? I got the cuts and the calluses, and you got the college degrees. Everything that you've ever learned, I've paid for.
I was taken in for a long time by that soft talk about my hard-working, martyred brother. But no more, not after you murdered Ann Howard.
Now, they said I was innocent. Why isn't that verdict final here, too?
Nobody said you were innocent, Lee.
Well, they said they didn't have enough to prove I was guilty. It's the same thing.
Not quite. All you have to do is slip once, mention one thing, when you're drunk or mad or asleep, and they just might want to march you right back into that courtroom.
Do you think that'll happen?
Oh, yes. I'm gonna make it happen.
What about you, Sandy? You still want to leave?
Can't you stop it? Will you just shut up?
Listen, I have to admit I was a little burned when you first told me about kissing Rodney.
Nothing else happened, nothing. Just one kiss.
Well, everything's okay then. From here on in, we can have a real marriage. Listen, Chris. I know what it must have taken for you to get up and lie on that witness stand about Ann and I on the bluff. Oh, you hate your brother, don't you? Hmm? That was perjury, Chris. And if somebody wanted to push the issue, all of your studying would go right down the drain. You'd never be a lawyer here or anyplace else.
Is that the club you're holding over my head?
No more clubs. No more threats, no more fights. And if it means anything to you, Chris, I forgive you.
You forgive me.
Sandy, why don't you fix me some of that tuna salad that you're so good at making? Maybe a little bit of hot cider, huh? You know, I missed your food almost as much as I missed this.
I'll go fix something.
Welcome home, Lee.
Hi.
How come you didn't answer me?
I didn't feel like yelling from the kitchen like a fishwife. Here, this ought to hold you. The roast will be another 10 minutes.
Sandy, do me a favor.
What?
Fix one of these things, will you?
Sure thing, oh Lord and Master.
You know, they say you got to do this once in a while for your circulation. You got to put your feet up in the air. I read it somewhere.
Here.
You know, I just buzzed through the town square and I saw Rodney getting all cozy with some real good-looking girl.
Who?
I don't know. I bumped into her in the courthouse one day. I could tell right away that Loverboy really had eyes for her.
Rachel.
Who?
Rachel Wells.
Have they been going together long?
What do you mean? They haven't been going together at all.
I really pressed a nerve, didn't I?
Well, I just heard.
I mean, you're really all shook up, aren't you? All I said was I saw Rodney playing hopscotch with another girl. Now, why would that bother Mrs. Lee Weber?
I'm gonna go check on dinner.
Sandy?
I said I'm gonna go check on dinner.
Come here. Have you seen him again?
Who? No, I haven't seen him again. You asked me not to, didn't you?
I forgave you once because I was in jail and you were lonely. But I'm home now.
Every time I leave the house, you think I'm going to see Rod. Well, that is your problem, not mine.
Sure, baby. You know, that's the funny thing about Rod. He was supposed to be so wild about Elliot Carson's daughter. Sure didn't take him very long to find somebody else. Not that I blame him, though. That, what's her name, Rachel? She's really something else. Now, if I wasn't married. But that's the way it goes. I'm married, so I'm gonna have to let that one go. I wonder how far along it is. I mean, I wonder if they're serious. Or it's just kicks for Rodney.
No, he's not serious, and it isn't just kicks. For your information, she happens to be a friend of the Carsons.
Oh, I touched on that nerve again, huh? All of a sudden, my sweet little wife is defending Rodney. I wonder why. I wonder if maybe my sweet little wife is a little bit jealous. But how could that be? How could my sweet little wife get upset over another man's love life? Unless, of course, she had a thing for him. Watch yourself, Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Have you ever noticed on a clear day you can see the Shoreline garage from here? Hey, I said...
I heard you.
Well, I said on a clear day you can...
It's not a clear day.
But things are clearing up, right?
What do you want?
Cup of coffee.
Okay.
You sure got out in a hurry this morning.
Yeah.
You must have tippy-toed right by me. I can usually hear the sound of the bedroom door when it cracks open.
I walked out the way I usually do. What do I have to tiptoe for?
It's not very comfortable sleeping on that couch out there. I mean, the slightest noise wakes me up.
I didn't tiptoe, okay?
You know, I thought maybe this morning, maybe the ice would thaw a little bit.
Drink your coffee.
Are you coming home right after the shift, Sandy?
Maybe.
Well, good. I'll see you then.
No, I'm going to be very busy.
Oh. What are you going to do, vacuum the place? Again?
I don't like to live around dirt.
You still think I murdered Ann Howard?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, maybe you'd like to talk about something more important. Like the good old Shoreline garage.
Oh, here we go again.
That's right, baby. Here you go again. It must be awfully convenient. I mean, having that garage a few steps from the house, a few steps from here.
Yes, lucky Rodney.
One of these mornings, there's going to be a different little Sandy Weber coming out of that house. A little Sandy Weber that doesn't tippy-toe by her sleeping husband. A little Sandy Weber that stops and wakes her husband up and says hello and smiles.
Surely.
Do you want to know why? Because I'm going to do something that's going to make little Sandy Weber come running back to her husband. That's why.
Oh, you're going to do something.
That's right.
To who?
Not to somebody. You got that all wrong, Sandy. I'm going to do something for somebody. For the only man in this town that didn't shut the doors on my fingers when the judge said not guilty.
He didn't say anything of the kind.
For the only man in this town that walked up to me after the hearing and said, Lee, congratulations, Mr. Martin Peyton.
What are you up to?
You know, I don't have to take anything from anybody anymore, Sandy. You hear me? Nothing. Keep the change, Sandy.
Did you hear him knocking?
Oh, well, I did knock. You just didn't hear me. Well, what's the big deal, Rod? Who was she, your secret love or something?
Hey, what do you want, Sandy?
Well, I just came by to see how your grandfather was getting along.
Yeah, well, he's doing as well as can be expected.
How do you think the fire started?
I haven't got the slightest idea. Would you please get off there?
Well, aren't you the least bit curious?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to know what your husband's going to do when he finds out you've been hanging around here again.
Not hanging around. I just came over to see how you're...
I know, to find out how my grandfather was getting along. Let me remind you of the facts of life, lady, all right? Number one, you have a husband. Number two, you have a husband with a very foul temper. And number three, you have a husband who has the habit of beating up on his wife when given half the excuse.
Number four, what makes it your problem? What are you anyway, some kind of a one-man humane society?
Okay, Sandy, let's forget the whole thing, but do me a favor. Will you stay away from here?
Why? Because I don't play hard to get like that dumb girl on the phone? Because I let you know how I feel?
No, because you're married.
Well, if being married means having a marriage certificate, yeah, I'm married. But if being married means having a life together with someone, I'm as single as you are.
You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay for
Lee, Chris, stop it! Stop it! Go on, the fish are waiting for you.
Have some breakfast. Just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Why do you let him needle you like that?
Go back to bed, Sandy.
You want some eggs?
Please, just go back to bed, will you?
Okay.
Sandy? I am hungry. I'm starved.
That his former client, Lee Weber, stole a gun from Ada Jack's waterfront tavern. And Stephen is determined to find Lee and disarm him. Stephen has long resisted any feeling of continuing responsibility toward Lee, whom he defended in court against the charge of murdering Ann Howard. Lee was released, a decision based largely on Stephen's professional skill. But Stephen's growing feeling that he has let loose a killer is overwhelming him. Ironically, Stephen is on the wrong track. Lee's blind brother Chris took the gun. And the more time Stephen spends searching for Lee, the more time Chris has to set a plot in motion.
Believe me, Sandy, it's very important that you get out of that house.
Lee is not a fool. He wouldn't dare lay a hand on me or you. Not after the close call he had.
You think he's just going to forget it, huh? You think he's going to forgive you for that help you took from Rodney Harrington? You think he's going to forgive me for testifying against him? Do you really believe that?
Either of you seen Lee?
No.
Mr. Cord.
Do you know where he is?
No.
Why would you want to know that, Mr. Cord?
I just want to talk to him.
Oh, you just want to talk to him. Well, why would you want to talk to him, Mr. Cord? Is he in trouble again? No, that's not likely, not likely. If he were in trouble, the police would be here, not you. Oh, I know what it is, Mr. Cord. You've got some good news for Lee. No, that's not likely either, is it? You've already given him the greatest news he could ever get when you got him acquitted.
Correction. When the judge failed to hold him over for trial. You've got all the answers and all the questions, haven't you?
My brother is working, Mr. Cord. He's out there on a fishing boat.
What time's he due back?
You never did prove he was innocent, did you, Mr. Cord? You just fouled up the evidence against him, so he got off on a legal technicality.
Sandy, what's the name of his boat?
I don't know.
So you can't be sure, can you? You can't be sure that he didn't kill Ann Howard.
If you have any additional evidence, why don't you give it to the district attorney? Otherwise, Chris, why don't you get on with your own life and forget about dead issues?
You go all the way, don't you, Mr. Cord? You save his neck in the courtroom, and then you defend his reputation afterwards. So noble and stupid.
Chris.
But then you have to stick with Lee, don't you, Mr. Cord? Or else it meant you made a mistake. A terrible, deadly mistake.
All right, once more. What time's he due back, Sandy?
Maybe Lee will get you off the hook, Mr. Cord. Maybe he'll commit another crime, and then you'll know for sure what we all know. That my brother is a killer. But I don't want to interfere, Mr. Cord. Lee's boat will be docking in just 1 hour.
Thanks. You know, there's probably nothing to worry about. But I think you both should know. A gun's been stolen from Ada Jack's Tavern.
I was right, wasn't I, Mr. Cord? You are still protecting him, aren't you?
Just be careful.
Chris.
Well, it's way past your bedtime, little brother.
Lee, I want to talk to you.
Chris, please.
Good night, Chris.
Stephen Cord came into the cider barrel today and he
Look, never
told
mind
me...
about that right now, Sandy. You tired, honey, huh? You look tired.
What are you mad about?
Hey, I've been missing you. Missing you bad.
What's the matter with you?
You've been missing me, huh, baby?
Let me go. Please
You know
leave.
how long it's been since you've kissed me, huh, baby? Huh? Well, I'm tired, too. I'm tired of sleeping on that lumpy cock, baby. I've had that cut.
If you don't leave me alone, I'll leave you.
I knew you were going to say that. You know why, huh? Because your curly-headed little boyfriend moved in next door, and that's why you're so hipped up on leaving me, isn't it? You don't think I don't know that, huh? Huh? Oh, come on, baby. Now, don't you tell me you didn't know Rodney was moving into the garage, baby. Don't tell me.
You're hurting me!
You get back in your cage, little brother, before I throw you right out in that snow. I'll be it, boy.
Chris, do what he says.
Leave her alone!
Stop it! Stop it!
Say please, Sandy. You always say please, Sandy.
Not anymore!
I bet you just got guys coming out of the woodwork after you, huh, baby?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that like me.
Oh, sure, Sandy, you're a real likable type. You're sure good at swinging that blind man's cane around, little brother.
Chris and I are going to the movies. We plan to this afternoon.
To the movies?
Yeah, the movies.
What are you going to do there, little blind brother, huh? Eat popcorn?
Your dinner's in the oven.
No, thank you. I'm going to go over to White River and get myself one of those barbecue beef sandwiches. And besides, the people are a lot friendlier there. About that gun, Sandy.
What about it?
You know, the one missing from Ada Jack's? Well, I bumped into Stephen Cord on the way home, and he asked me about it. Well, I told him, I said, well, I didn't take any gun, Stephen. I don't need a gun, do I, Sandy? I've got these big old bare hands.
Yeah, your hands are great.
They do a lot, don't they, baby, huh?
They're great for pushing.
For Chris Webber, this is the time of waiting. Determined to punish his brother Lee for the death of Ann Howard, Chris has a gun taken from Ada Jack's tavern. A gun he knows he must use, but he must find the opportunity. For Sandy Webber, Lee Webber's wife, this is the time of decision. Unaware that Chris has the gun, she knows she cannot return to her husband's house. Ironically, her desire to stay away runs head-on into Chris's desire to return home, take the gun from its hiding place, and press the trigger.
Hey, Sandy. Sandy, I know you're off duty, but
I'll
can
give you a hand later, Charlie. Where were you going just now?
I don't know.
You almost walked right past the door. You've been here 10,000 times and you know it as well as you know your own home.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of concentration to find doors and chairs and tables, and I haven't been able to concentrate for hours.
Well, I have. Keep seeing you swinging your cane at Lee.
Yeah, I was pretty good with this, wasn't I?
Chris.
Oh, do we have a large audience?
Fair.
My apologies, folks. I hit him as hard as I could with this, but my little white cane isn't very effective, is it?
At least you stopped him from hitting me.
This time.
There isn't going to be a next time. Look, Chris, you were right. I can't live in that house any longer, and neither can you. We've got to get out. Lee's a dead end for the both of us.
Well, 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 the light finally dawns.
Well, it's harder for a girl. It's harder to walk out on a marriage.
Walk out.
All right, crawl out. Do you like that better?
Do you?
No, I don't like crawling, even though I've had a lot of experience.
Well, maybe you won't have to walk out or run or crawl.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
It took a lot of words for you to say nothing. Chris.
I'm on your side, Sandy.
Well, then let's split. Let's get out of here tonight.
Tonight?
Well, now. Why not now? Lee will be watching every move we make. We'll be afraid of him no matter where we are. Well, what's the matter, Chris? You're the one who said we could cut out. Do you have some idea about working things out with Lee?
No.
Well, then what is it?
Money. Now, do you have any money?
A few dollars.
Well, now, that's not going to get us very far, is it? Look, I have some cash at the house. I'll get the cash, and then we'll leave.
No, don't go. Lee won't let you go.
He won't even know about it. He's in White River drinking.
Well, maybe he's back. Then what?
I have to get the cash, Sandy.
All right, well, I'll go with you.
No. If Lee sees us leave together, then neither one of us will stand a chance. Let me handle it.
All right, I'll make a deal with you. I'll call and see if he's still there. If he is, we leave without the money. I have enough to get us bus fare out of here. It'll be a start, okay?
Yes, yes, you make the call.
Sandy, how about it?
Not now. And he's still in White River.
Good. I'll be back in a minute.
Chris.
Sandy. let me have your door key.
All right. Chris, come here. Did you take Ada Jack's gun?
Are you kidding? What would I do with a gun?
I don't know. I thought maybe...
You thought maybe I might want to shoot an apple off Lee's head? Come on, Sandy. Who's the last blind marksman you ever heard of?
Well, then Lee's got it. Chris, be careful, please.
Nobody's gonna see me. I won't even have to turn the light on, remember?
Good luck.
Sandy, you be sure and stay here. You stay here. This place is your protection.
And yours.